All right, and welcome to another episode of Good Vibes. I'm Martin Falls along with Debbie Cox DeNova. She is our transformation coach. She does the Good Vibes show as well as a few other shows, and we appreciate her being here. And as we're moving into the new year, what a topic you've come up with. I want a lot of people to listen because this is a good one. Cheat-proofing relationships.
Yes.
Wow.
It's-
Those three words say a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a taboo subject, but it's a requested topic, and I think that it impacts more people than we'd like to admit. Nobody goes into a relationship thinking, oh, this is going to end in cheating or that their partner is going to go behind their backs. And yet, statistically speaking, we've got 25 to 60% of people in a marriage are going to cheat. Now, statistics are really difficult to gather on cheating because dishonesty is at the heart of cheating, right? So how do you gather reliable statistics on something that has at its core dishonesty? Very, very difficult. But we know that 98% of people fantasize about people outside of their partnerships. And if we don't, and the website Ashley Madison, that is about married people finding other married people. There are 54 million members on Ashley Madison. So if this doesn't point to an issue with infidelity, I don't know what else does. It's important that we have direct conversations with our partners about cheating from the early on, with ourselves, direct conversations, and as a society that we start talking about cheating, the implications, the damage that it can cause is very traumatizing in a lot of cases. How do we cheat-proof our relationships? Because if we don't talk about it directly, the chances of cheating happening actually increase quite a bit. There's even a biochemical element to it. There are certain people who have more of a propensity to cheating. We talked about the vasopressin system. There's a gene within the vasopressin system that they've done studies on people who have 0 or 1 copy of the gene, 2 copies of the gene. The more copies of this gene that you have, the more unstable your relationship is likely to be, which then scientists infer will make it more likely that you would cheat.
You watch the movie Hall Pass?
No.
Need to watch it.
I do.
That's a good one. I mean, it's sort of related to this, but
Okay. Yeah.
Check it out. Check it out.
And so and I don't know. I know what a hall pass actually is.
Yeah.
So this points to what is cheating, right? Because it honestly, cheating is defined differently from couple to couple and culture to culture and throughout time. So this is the first time in history where you can lie in bed right next to your partner and be cheating if you have a cell phone, right? So it's really, really important. And then people cheat for all sorts of different reasons. People actually will cheat to preserve their relationship. If they're dissatisfied with an element but they don't want to break up the relationship, they'll cheat in order to fulfill that outside of their relationship. Some people cheat so that they can destroy their relationship because they want out. Some people cheat because they have a gigantic ego and they just feel entitled to have it all. And then some people cheat because they associate that chemical rush that we've talked about with new love, that nature does to sort of quick bond us, right? They associate that with love. And so when the chemical rush comes down, which it always does in a relationship, and then someone else comes on the scene that creates that chemical rush within them, they associate that to well, this must be love and what I have must not be the real deal.
I'm going to tell you, I was listening on one of your previous shows. This will prove it. You said that sometimes women, when the man cheats, they don't want to hear it was an emotional bond that made him cheat. They'd rather him say, well, she was hot. I messed up.
Yeah.
But not, oh, I thought I was in love with her.
Exactly.
That destroys the other woman.
Yeah, and it's actually more likely that men will cheat for physical reasons, whereas women will cheat for emotional reasons. We're just built differently.
Not that we
way.
condone either.
Not that we condone either.
And the part I wanted to ask you is, so many people cheat, and then they go around telling everybody it was the other person.
Well, again, this
That
goes
cheat.
back to the dishonesty, right?
They want to
'Cause-
preserve their integrity.
Exactly. So if you're dealing with somebody who's prone to cheating, then you're talking about someone who's prone to dishonesty in some way. And usually where they play in one area, they're going to play in other areas. So then you have a level of dishonesty that plays out there too. But this research comes from Esther Perel, who we've talked about before, who's a relationship and sex therapist and expert. She wrote a book called The State of Affairs. And she says that even happy couples can cheat. She sees happy couples all the time who are satisfied within the relationship and yet they cheat anyway. So how do we cheat proof? Where are the guidelines? When does flirting turn into cheating, right? Those are things that we need to discuss. We can discuss here, but certainly within your
But
partnership.
where is the line from flirting to cheating?
Yes. So we're going to talk about that.
Therein lies the issue.
Yes, we are definitely going to talk about it. The first thing, though, is to make sure that you're being honest with yourself. We're always going to, at the end of the day, we're more likely going to stay loyal to ourselves over anyone else. So if you are the type of person, for example, who gets a little flirty whenever you drink, then you need to be honest with yourself that that is the case for you. If you have a propensity to cheat in certain areas or cross the line in certain areas, you want to check yourself and be honest with yourself first. And then secondly, you want to discuss the boundaries with your partner, because every single relationship gets to define for each of them what is cheating. If you spend hours talking on the phone to someone of the opposite sex, is that cheating? If you are liking provocative pictures on social media, if you are friending your ex on social media, where is the cheating line? Can you do a little bit of flirting? Is that okay? What is considered to be a breach of the trust and the boundaries? Then you want to avoid temptations. You want to make sure it's so easy to go with the flow once you put yourself in a situation that where you tip over into the lines.
I remember my dad saying one time, not saying this holds for all couples. He said, if you meet them in a bar room, they'll leave you in a bar room. It's pretty good wisdom from Dad, but some people have met in bar rooms and sustained the test of time because they really both like to be in the bar room.
Right, sure.
But some people go to bar rooms just because they think they'll meet somebody. But if the person going to the bar room really doesn't want to live in the bar room, but the other person has been living there forever, there's a problem.
Exactly, and this goes back to the putting yourself into temptation, right? In tempting situations, there are a lot of people looking for hookups or looking to partner up with someone in some way, shape, or form in a bar. So if you have a partner and you find yourself having drinks and your partner's aren't around and there are other bar patrons there, the likelihood of you cheating has already increased, right? The more drinks you have, the more the chances are. So putting yourself in that situation to begin with and telling yourself that you can handle it is probably not the best plan for staying faithful to your partner. The other thing is that you want to, if you have a propensity to cheat, choose a friend to be accountable to. Let them know, again, this goes back to those open conversations. We have to be honest with ourselves about when we're vulnerable, and have an accountability partner or two or three who say, hey, listen, maybe you shouldn't be drinking, having that third drink. Maybe you shouldn't be talking to this person. You have a partner at home. Nothing wrong with that. That's actually holding yourself accountable in areas where you find yourself vulnerable. The other thing is make good choices to invest into your relationship. Understand that cheating is a thing that is possible. It's kind of like buying health insurance or life insurance, boarding up your windows for a hurricane. It's not because you want those things to happen. It's because you know that there's a possibility of that happening in the real world, so you want to do some prevention there. All right, and then secrecy. The moment you start keeping secrets from your spouse, then you're already blurring the line, because the one thing that all infidelity, no matter how you define it, no matter the one thing, the first step and the common ground is secrecy. So the minute you start hiding things from your partner, that should be a red flag for you, that you're already crossing a line and potentially might actually be in an emotional infidelity already. And then the last thing is to create a communication that's open between between partners about crossing the line with flirting, or what does cheating even look like. And everyone staying calm and giving each other a chance to talk, because this can be a very heated conversation.
It's amazing, and we talk about the ballroom a lot when we talk about this, but isn't it funny how alcohol affects everyone differently? Just in my circle of friends, somebody can drink and become the life of the party and just funny. Not even thinking about cheating or doing it. They just want to be the life of the party.
Yeah.
Somebody else has a couple of drinks and they're like, hey, and somebody else has a couple of drinks and they mean as hell.
Yeah.
So alcohol affects everybody differently. You got to know where the alcohol trigger is, too.
You do have to know the alcohol, and it goes back to knowing your vulnerabilities. Like, if you already know that there are certain situations that create a vulnerability within you, steering clear of those situations to begin with will protect your relationship, which at the end of the day, it's an integrity thing. That's the problem we have, is integrity. So once you set the boundaries, one couple could consider a long conversation on the phone with someone of the opposite sex cheating, while another partnership could say, no, that's fine. That's within the boundaries. It's about which you and your partner has decided is cheating, and then making sure that you honor and protect your relationship first. So you talked about flirting before. So if you're a touchy-feely person, there might not be anything wrong with that. But there are areas where you can cross the line from like flirting to potentially cheating. For example, we've talked about the way you touch, right? So you could be touching somebody in the small of their back, or you could be stroking their thigh, right? Those touches are going beyond and crossing the line
Right.
potentially into cheating, right? There are also some other things, suggestive messages. So if you're talking about how someone looks and what they're wearing, and you're sending them text messages or social media messages, even if you put LOL or an emoji afterward, to sort of, everything that you said before stands. It's a suggestion. There's an intention there that's beyond just friendliness, right?
Yeah,
So-
they put the LOL in there in case you reject them.
Right.
It was just a joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The other thing is, again, remembering that secrecy is a thing. So when you start hiding something, that's when you have a problem. When you're flipping over your phone, making sure that your spouse doesn't see that. When you're deleting messages, when you're withholding information about that coworker, that's when you know you're already sort of micro cheating, is what they call it. Little things that are outside of the bounds that maybe are not actually sex, but that are still crossing the line and violating the agreement that you have with your partner.
So what do you do, real quick, we got a little time left, but if you met your partner in a ballroom, but really you didn't want to be there to begin with, you were sort of fizzling out at that stage.
Yeah.
But they love to be in a ballroom.
Yeah.
They love to drink. But then you find out there's some chemistry, you go along, but then you grow out of the ballroom, they keep doing the ballroom. I've seen so many fights
Yeah.
from that alone.
Yeah, this goes back to the open communication, because in any relationship, you're going to be talking about what's okay and what's not okay. For a lot of couples, to your point, they'll go to the bar forever together, right? Because
Right.
they both like it.
Yeah.
If one partner sees that as problematic or they don't want to go, and yet it puts the other partner in a vulnerable situation to the relationship, that there needs to be a communication about exactly where the line stands. And sometimes there may be compromises that are needed. When you start putting your partner second to your own need for validation, second to a relationship at work, maybe you're taking on an extra project so you can spend more time at work. When you start putting your partner second, that's already a red flag. That's already blurring the lines and actually violating the trust there. So if there's a problem, it needs to be discussed openly.
So when you go to the bar and the song Tequila Makes Your Clothes Fall Off comes on, and you're one of those, when you drink tequila, makes your clothes fall off, don't drink tequila.
Don't drink tequila.
Drink something else. All right, Debbie, great topic.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll be right back with more. Don't go away.